Welcome back to another edition of Tea and Toys. Now, I'm a little bit late to the park in regards to the Transmetal's re-releases, or at least the heavy rumour. So pinch of salt territory, everybody. Don't take this as gospel. This came out on an article, I think it was on Cybertron or Cybertron.com, how it's a possibility of Hasbro could be reissuing the old Transmetal figures because they are of a good scale. And the moulds are quite strong and do stand up to the modern play. But I'm going to visit the characters that we know were turned into Transmetals in the TV series to see what can we improve upon, what one they shouldn't do, or is it something that you really want? Do you want them to reissue these toys, or do you think they should just go, you know what, bang, let's just put these things into the modern day world and redo them completely? Alright, first up we've got Rattrap as ever. Let's go for the smallest to the largest. As you can see here, I believe this is actually the reissue Rattrap, so the one that was the closest colours to the animated model. The original release is usually about off colour. So as you can see, we've got the animated look of Rattrap here. And you can see the head is close, but no cigar. Look, the mouth is completely wrong. Obviously, the colours would need to be rejigged. Obviously, that's actually a different version to this version. Now I've done that. But they've still got green eyes. Rattrap has red eyes, so he would need to have red eyes. The mouth would need to be redone. And obviously you've got these ridges here, which would need to be removed to make him look a little bit more like his animated look. And obviously he's got these dots by the side of his eyes as well. Again, that's a minor thing they could add in, but looking at picking it up here, other Rattrap, no, he doesn't have those. Obviously, colour-wise, yeah. Looking at the chest is close, but again, it looks a little bit more organic, where it's more of like a plate of armour on the actual toy, on the CGI model, and it's got no neck. Obviously, I believe the neck was very flush to the original toy, and obviously the weapon is very much the same. You've got the alt mode, both alt modes, the full rat and then the half rat, half buggy type mode on the Beast Wars Transmetal Rattrap. It is an acceptable Rattrap to re-release. You know that they'll just maybe tart up the colours, but I do think, having looked at all of them, they probably do need all new heads. And again here, I don't have the groin section on the animated model next to me. Again, I think that maybe looks just a bit organic. Obviously, it looks like intestines on there, and I just don't think that was quite right from the animated model. Could they redo it? Yes. Would it need significant changes? Yeah, I'll definitely go there for significant changes on Rattrap. Next up, we've got Cheetah! Again, Cheetah, very close to his animated model. Transformation was nigh on identical. So on that side, a very strong representation if they were to reissue the Cheetah mould. Again, like with Rattrap, I didn't mention, remove where it said the name on all the characters. You don't need that because you know who it is. It says it on the box. Now the thing with Cheetah, the head would be very restricted because the head is also his hands in Transmetal mode. So that's something that they probably wouldn't be able to change. Maybe you could give him new hands so he could actually open and close the Cheetah mouth. Listen to me, the Cheetah mouth. Obviously the front plate here would need to be more yellows. Obviously it was very white and yellow on the original toy, and then obviously this section here is a little bit longer as well, but it's still blue, and you've got the gold there as well. The chrome probably wouldn't exist. The chrome would be probably more just metallic based paint, because chrome, we know, chips, and chroming is also an expensive process to do as well. By far, yes, Cheetah will need a brand new head. This weird, ugly, snarling, angry face, I never liked it on the original toy. The Armada version, you could get away with it because you could say that's a separate version of the character, but this version, no. Replace, and don't give him the brain gun. You still give him the axe, like the other Kingdom Cheetah had. So yeah, he definitely need a brand new head to look more like Cheetah. But other than that, I think he's probably the best one to do a reissue of. Just a new head and just repaint. And like I said, I would prefer if they gave him a hinge jaw, so he could move his thumbs, the hand thumbs, but that probably won't happen. Although Optimus Primal's hands could move, so there is maybe room for improvement there. But out of all of them, Cheetah was probably the safest one. Why should I say that? Next up, we've got Optimus Primal. Now, aside from maybe adding a little bit of articulation on both the ape and the robot mode fists, there's not much to change in Optimus Primal. Again, maybe smooth out the chest so it's less furry, monkey-like. I say monkey, he's a great ape. But less ape-like for Optimus Primal. The face, again, doesn't need changing that much because it is a little bit hairy on the sides. Obviously a lot smoother, and I would prefer definitely a more smoother looking animated representation. Obviously the nose is a little bit smaller on the animated model. The beast mode, pretty much solid, and the weird surfboard, hoverboard mode, that's fine as well. Again, maybe add some articulation on the robot mode. On the beast mode head. Remove the word Optimus. You don't need that. But Optimus and Cheetah are currently looking the strongest. And then we move on to the Predacons. Now, I'm only doing the characters that actually did turn into Transmetal beings in the show. Obviously, there are a lot more Transmetal characters that did come out, but they're not ones that necessarily would need to be updated in the respect that these would. So next up, we've got the Predacon Tarantulas. Now, obviously, we haven't even seen the standard version of Tarantulas yet. Again, he's heavily rumoured to be 2022. Fingers crossed that happens. And obviously, as you know, I really want the Beast Wars Inferno, and I really want the Beast Wars Pterosaur as well. So, looking at Tarantulas' head, not a lot of differences. Does it need an update? Definitely, 100%, because as you can see here, he's got one big eye visor, whereas the original toy had two separate eyes. And the mandible type face, again, it's close, but no cigar. He's got the little horns on his head. Now, I think these obviously would be smooth for toy safety reasons, but I think where the head slots in on the toy from memory, there's not a lot of space to move it between this section here and then sliding it back and flipping it up. From memory, it's been a long time since I've owned it. What else is there? Okay, the bike mode and the beast mode actually look quite good. They don't look that bad. But what I would want from an improved Tarantulas is new arms and new spider legs. I would like on the Black Arachnia, I would like these to be articulated. This section doesn't necessarily need to be, but I would definitely want the main knuckle, let's say, to be articulated. The weapon's fine. Definitely new hands. I would actually have him be able to hold things like you would in a proper hand, because originally you would just cradle the weapon in this weird claw-looking hand. Again, it is a good representation. It is a good toy, and it would, with just a lick of paint and a quick update, it wouldn't look too bad with the more modern Kingdom stuff. But having looked at the past three, that I do feel that maybe the toy mold is a little bit old. If they could take this old toy and give it a new lease of life, add in a few new parts, all you'd have to do is design new legs to pop into the slots. I'm saying this from a complete layman. Obviously, that might take years and months to design and produce to see if it's all safe and happy to do so. But again, new head, new spider legs, and new robot arms. Everything else I can live with. Obviously, lick of paint, fine. Next up is Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron. Obviously, we've got the original head here, obviously a bit more lizard-looking like, whereas the animated model was a lot smoother. A lot more metallic. Again, obviously the chrome we know is probably off the table, so a nicely updated head. And with this Megatron, this toy is actually the one that got me back into collecting Transformers. I never owned a Megatron, and I saw this in Woolworths. Yeah, I know, R.I.P. Woolworths in the UK, right? Saw this Beast Wars toy. Thought, oh yeah, I'll get a Megatron. Put it with the other Transformers, the ancient Transformers I had inside. And I made this guy battle the original Grimlock for hours. I fell in love with this toy, and mine never broke. I was actually very lucky. Mine didn't succumb to the gold plastic syndrome. I think the Beast Wars stuff was the last of that gold plastic issue. I think we've seen that come round again. maybe gold plastic just isn't used as much, or it's a completely different process. But anyway, getting back to improvements on the Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron. Again, I don't mind the hands being there. That's by the by. That kind of thing doesn't overly bother me. It was a fun transformation as well. I did enjoy the transformations with this toy. So the T-Rex is fine. Now, what I would like is if you would be able to spin these sections instead of just be able to lift up the flap and he can do vertical takeoff. Because in the series, he can swing these round and he can sort of fly in multiple directions using these boosters. Maybe even have a peg so you can slot in boosters in there as well, like with the blast effects. With the T-Rex arms in the show, he could spin these round, and these could be additional like guns for his shoulders. Now you can kind of simulate this on the toy, but you can't spin the fingers round to have the actual on-show aesthetic. So that's one thing I would do. I would add a bit of articulation to the T-Rex arms so you could have that on there as well. Again, as I said, with the boosters, so you can have them fold out as they were in the show. Obviously removing the name Megatron. Well, I didn't like it, these toys didn't have the name on it. And the shoulder articulation. This section here, now, I don't know how they would improve it, but this is something I definitely would want them to improve. So you can actually lift up Megatron's arms, because they can only go literally as far as these shoulder pads. Maybe add a flap here, so he can lift his arms a bit higher. And one thing, he is small as well. Like the Beast Wars characters' Kingdom have all been done into a fairly good scale. Except Rattrap. I still think Rattrap is far too small. Knowing that this Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron is smaller than the leader class Kingdom Megatron. But as long as this Megatron is in scale to those smaller than him and those bigger than him, I don't think it would be that bad. It just wouldn't look right with the Kingdom Megatron, the current Beast Wars Kingdom Megatron. But again, reissued, but definitely with some upgrades and some improvements to the original mould. And obviously, don't make it gold plastic fragile. Ultra size figures. Next up, we've got Depth Charge. Now, he wasn't on the rumour to be reissued, which is a good thing. There's a lot of things that I would like removed from the Depth Charge. In the show, he could launch his yellow discs from the manta ray head on his chest in robot mode. That is something I would love it if they removed, because he has the trigger on the back, so get rid of the action feature. That is unpopular opinion to a lot of people, to remove action features. I personally hate them with a passion, because it can impede on the toy. I'm more of I like articulation. I like to display them in different modes. Like you stick a sound pack on them or have some trigger mechanism. It just takes away for me from the toy. It's a toy, and I'm moaning about it. It's meant for kids. But yes, definitely remove the trigger action. The chrome would go, the name would go. There's a lot of, because of the trigger and with the tail, there's a whole lot of back kibble on Depth Charge. I believe the wings should probably be redesigned better as well to fold down and give us that look of Depth Charge in the show. The head was close. As a lot of them are quite close, but definitely upgrade the face, upgrade the head, modernise it. And next up, we've got the last official Transmetal character. I haven't included Optimus in this because I think that's a different entity in himself, and he was just done in the Power of the Primes set. Although again, a bit disappointing because it misses out, was it 2 of the modes? So next up, we've got Rampage. Again, Rampage, very close. Very close. This is obviously the best version of the head that I could find. I think it was like the Japanese reissue, which was very close to the animated model. So here, the colours, nice vibrant colours, they could reuse from the Rampage. But again, like with the Megatron, I feel that this one is a little bit dated. There are just some issues with Rampage that I feel that can be addressed. Again, the head is okay. There are things you could remove, like this ridge here that he doesn't have on the animated model. Obviously, he got a bit more silver on his, what would be the nose area. And again, where the crab legs are on the robot mode, that would need to go. I hated that the crab legs were still attached to his robot arms. And I know there's limitations in these toys, but if they are to modernise Rampage, I would want them to completely redo Rampage. I would not want to rebuy a Transmetal Rampage that's this 20-year-old toy. It's just something I would not want to purchase again. Obviously, you got the action feature on the gun. Again, that could stay. That's his tank turret. There's nothing wrong with that. You could maybe have the launcher on there, spring mechanism. Is it something I'd love? Probably not. Obviously, the rubber tank treads, that's something that would degrade in time on the original toy. I actually own two of them. A car boot pickup and the other one was a brand new in-box version. The tank treads would wear in time, so I only ever transformed the rebuy one once so I could sell it on eBay. Damn, that tank mode was oh man, what a horrible toy to transform. Absolutely horrible toy to transform into crab mode. And it's one of the coolest modes he has in the show. It's crab stroke tank creature. Fantastic. I would also scale him up for the modern era. Definitely put him in maybe a big leader class or verging into the commander class. But again, that's a stretch. That is a stretch. And obviously people from that love the character Soccer Act. I don't like the character Soccer Act, the whole Unicron connected thing. It's not something I like. But yeah, for me, Rampage, 100% redo him. The shoulders just don't work. Plus they stick out about a mile as well from memory. And the crab legs on the arms, just no. Not into that. Not into that at all. Again, I would prefer it if you could actually have his mandibles in his crab mode move instead of his face splitting into complete two halves. What are your opinions? Would you rather just did quick repaints of these old Transmetal toys and shove them into the shops? Or would you think, okay, re-release them with updates, or just whole brand new toys? Say what you want in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, follow me on YouTube, Rumble and BitTube. Have a good day, see you in the next video.